Ever since the Ruin DLC released and the Glamrock Bonnie Easter egg was discovered, people have been looking further into the death of Glamrock Bonnie, and some people are going as far as to say that we've been wrong all along and that Monty didn't kill Glamrock Bonnie. In this video, I'm going to go over all the evidence that Monty didn't kill Bonnie and essentially explain why Monty definitely actually did do it. This is a mini theory, so it will probably not be too long, so let's just jump in. The main point against Monty being the one to kill Bonnie is the fact that Bonnie has claw marks in his chest. Monty supposedly didn't have claws until he actually became the bass player, and that happened after Bonnie was killed, meaning Monty couldn't have done it. This is like the basis for the whole theory, and it's very flawed, but I'm going to go over all the evidence before going into the issues with it. Surrounding the claw marks on his chest is green paint, and Monty's claws aren't green. Roxy's are. Assuming Roxy didn't kill Bonnie, the green could have been the paint underneath the blue on Bonnie, meaning he was originally green and was painted blue just like how Glamrock Freddy's bow tie was originally purple and was painted over with black. Another point comes from one of the duffel bag messages about Monty. Apparently, Monty had been skipping shows. The common conclusion regarding why Monty would have killed Bonnie is because of jealousy and wanting to be on the main band, then killing Bonnie and taking his place. But if that's the case, why would Monty work so hard to get on the main band and then skip the shows? And the last piece of evidence is that Bonnie was seen going to Monty Golf before he died, but the crime scene where Bonnie died was in Bonnie Bowl, and we see marks on the walls and the environment showing that this was where Bonnie was attacked. So how did Bonnie end up here if he was last seen in Monty Golf? That would have to mean that the footage was deleted to cover up what actually happened, which may have been Vanny's doing. That's just about everything that suggests Monty didn't kill Bonnie and was framed, but as I said, all of these points have problems. See, while Monty wasn't originally the bass player and didn't have the claws he has in Security Breach before he was, there's nothing to suggest that he didn't have claws at all. If Freddy and Roxy always had claws but Monty's in Security Breach are more powerful ones, who's to say that Monty didn't always have claws, especially since Monty and Freddy have essentially the same sized and designed claws, but we still have to upgrade Freddy with Monty, meaning the size and design isn't what makes them more powerful. So it makes perfect sense if he had claws in the same vein as Freddy and Roxy while Bonnie had the upgraded ones for playing the bass. It makes perfect sense for Monty to have killed Bonnie using his standard Glamrock claws, and then following Bonnie's death, he got the upgraded claws like Bonnie had. The only thing that even remotely implies that Monty never had claws is the Monty ride showing Monty without claws, but that also doesn't mean anything. For one, that ride was depicting Monty as a much smaller character to represent a coming-of-age story, and the story is obviously a lie, so the contents aren't really accurate. But on top of that, Bonnie's claws are arguably way more important, and in the Monty ride, even his claws aren't shown, so Monty not appearing to have claws means nothing. The green paint surrounding Bonnie's wounds also really doesn't mean anything. Roxy is the only character whose actual claws are green, and her killing Bonnie wouldn't make sense at all. Not only does she have little to no motivation, but the Ruin DLC depicts Roxy in a positive light, showing her as the good guy, so implying that she killed Bonnie in the same DLC wouldn't be such great storytelling. It would kind of undermine her goodness in this DLC. If the excuse that the green paint was just under Bonnie's blue paint like the purple on Freddy's bow tie is true, then the color of the attacker's claws doesn't matter at all, and if it does, it makes a lot more sense to be Monty considering that while his claws themselves aren't green, the fingers right below the claws are, so if Monty was going ham on Bonnie, his claws likely just went all the way through, leaving paint from his fingers on Bonnie as he scratched him and it smudged from his green finger onto Bonnie. It also doesn't take a genius to know that Freddy absolutely didn't kill Bonnie, so that only leaves the Mimic as his potential killer, cause he's the only other character that has claws, and that option is just straight up impossible for a multitude of reasons. Killing Bonnie has absolutely nothing to do with the Mimic's plans, and even if the Mimic isn't Burn Trap, we know that Bonnie's endo wasn't used for Burn Trap because he still has his endoskeleton. Also, how would the Mimic even get up out of the pizza place cave? Not only is the why really important, but also the how. There's literally no way for him to get up. The only possible solution would be Vanny helping him, but that's also impossible. Why? Because Bonnie was destroyed really early in the Pizzaplex era. In the Storyteller, which takes place right around the beginning of the Pizzaplex's lifespan, Monty's already a part of the main Pizzaplex band, and Bonnie isn't. And Monty also has his own green room when only the main band has green rooms. Bonnie has already been destroyed, and this was before the Mimic program was even installed in the Pizzaplex. While yes, the Mimic had already been under the Pizzaplex, it doesn't have anyone to get him out. The story GGY takes place a couple years after the Pizzaplex opened, and the Pizzaplex opened in 2024 according to the Mimic and the storyteller's placements in the timeline. GGY is about 5 months after the first therapy tapes, and considering only 3 of the 5 therapists are dead, those therapy tapes are still going on. Towards the end, Vanessa leaves town to go to work at the Pizzaplex, meaning she wasn't working for the Pizzaplex until at least 2 years into the Pizzaplex's lifespan. And if that's the case, and she wasn't even in the same town as the Pizzaplex before that, and Bonnie was destroyed 2 whole years before she did, then she wouldn't have been able to help the Mimic get up, and there's no one else who could. Also, since the Mimic wasn't installed in the Pizzaplex until after Bonnie was already dead, that means that Bonnie was killed only because someone wanted to kill him, leaving the aggressive and jealous Monty as the most likely culprit. The Mimic had nothing to do with Bonnie's death. And yes, Monty definitely is a jealous character. While yes, he does skip his stage shows, that could just be the fame going to his head, and he feels untouchable. It's his pride, his ego, which is implied to have been there since the start.
You just had to blow it up. You and your pride and your ego. You just had to be the man.
And we know that he has that ego and that homicidal desire to be part of the main band, because not only is Freddy's head torn off in the Monty ride, but at the end of the Monty Golf arcade, Freddy is in the garbage can and Monty is at center stage. He absolutely wants all the attention, but it goes to his head. So him skipping shows doesn't mean he isn't jealous, because we know that he is no matter what. As for Bonnie being last seen at Monty Golf despite the crime scene being in Bonnie Bowl, implying the footage was manipulated, yes, that is true. But as I just said, it wouldn't have been manipulated by Vanny because she isn't even in town yet. It would have simply been manipulated by Fazbear Entertainment. Just because the footage was removed doesn't mean that it was removed to make it look like Bonnie was killed by Monty. Instead, it could have left out footage of the incident leading back to Bonnie Bowl. No matter what way you look at it, Bonnie still went to Monty Golf right before he died, and whether footage was deleted or not, that still leaves Monty as the likely killer. And while footage was clearly deleted, that was likely just Fazbear Entertainment covering it up. They probably know what happened to Bonnie, because how would they not find his remains after 5 years? And it seems like they know that something bad happened, since Cassie's dad apparently wouldn't tell her what happened to him. Wouldn't tell her, implying he did know and just knew it was something bad. I honestly don't think that Glamrock Bonnie was ever supposed to be anything more than a plot device. Glamrock Bonnie's existence doesn't actually affect the story much at all, considering he isn't used for Burn Trap. The only way that he means anything is if Monty killed him, and I really don't think that he was supposed to be anything as important as everyone made him out to be. I think he was just meant to give us more insight into Monty's character, and if Monty, the aggressive, egotistical, envious character, didn't kill Bonnie, then Bonnie adds literally nothing to the story. I honestly think the only reason Bonnie appeared in Ruin was to give people closure for what happened to him, because people expected too much from him. Bonnie was always just a plot device to expand on Monty's character, and that's why Monty killing Bonnie is almost guaranteed. But that's everything there is to talk about in this video. I hope you all enjoyed, and if you did, make sure to leave a like and subscribe if you want to, and let me know in the comments if you think Monty killed Bonnie. But that's all, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye guys!